Just want to double check that my audio is coming through clear right now, and I'm going to start the stream. Audio is coming through clear right now, and I'm going to start the stream. All right. So at the time that I am doing this stream, Manchester United just wrapped up their game against Fulham at Craven Cottage. A game with which we saw United draw Fulham. Obviously, late result for Fulham. I don't know exactly what minute Emil Smith Rowe scored the equalizer. United started pretty hot, to be honest with you. I thought Cunha probably could have been on a hat trick inside 15 minutes. Hit the post. A couple other ones. And, I definitely think if you're a United supporter, probably sucks a little bit that it didn't go your way, but that is what it is. Unfortunate, but I don't really know what else to say about that matter, to be perfectly honest with you. I have the chat box. It should be popping up. I don't know why it isn't. Ashley said, "What's up, Limo? What's up, Ash? How we doing?" I don't know why the chat box is not popping up. I'm going to try to get a fix for that. But yeah, United didn't look fantastic. It is what it is. I wish I could say I was that surprised. They didn't look good, but it's, just at this point what United does. That's just the reality of the situation. So, yeah. I definitely think if United were to have potentially, gone ahead earlier in the game, they probably would have done well. They also missed a penalty. I don't know. I don't know why Kobe Mainu did not get subbed on. I don't know what Amorim has against Mainu. It's, I guess there's some sort of issues there. What do I know about it? But yeah, a couple other big games this weekend. You probably see up on stream. They're going to be the big ones that I am going to talk about. Chelsea versus West Ham. Chelsea looked really, really good. I know the Crystal Palace game, obviously, last week was probably a big concern if you're a Chelsea supporter. That, you didn't, get the result that you probably wanted to. But the reality of the situation is Palace are a really, really good team. Palace are a really, really good team this year. Just is what it is. I wish I could have more to say about Crystal Palace, but they probably should have won today against Forest as well. They didn't. It is what it is, sort of thing. Going back to the United game. United, that Cunha for Manchester United looks unbelievable, to be honest with you. Brian Mbeumo also looks really, really good for United as well. Sesko, I think there's going to come a certain point for Ruben Amorim where he's just going to have to play Sesko. He's just going to have to start Sesko because you put all this money into the transfer of Benjamin Sesko, and you're just not starting him. I get it. It's probably a fitness thing. There's probably a reason that Ruben Amorim doesn't start him. I'm sure it's certainly probably fitness related, but not for nothing. You spent all that money on Benjamin Sesko. Why are you not going to use him? I don't really understand it entirely, if I'm being real. It is what it is. I really, if you're a United supporter, it's probably really concerning at this point that you just cannot score goals. The only goal that you scored in the game today came from a center back off a corner. So that's shit just in and of itself. United realistically need to begin to start playing Benjamin Sesko. I really don't know what else to say about it. Really, when it comes down to United perspective, that Ben Sesko, you've invested so much money into him. There were a lot of huge teams that were interested in bringing him into their club. Newcastle is a perfect example of a team that wanted to bring him in. You stole Sesko from Newcastle. I understand there's probably a fitness element of it as well, but at a certain point, like, why are you spending all that much money on someone who you're not going to start? I don't really understand it. I think it would be more of a benefit for United to start Sesko, give him 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and then try to maybe make changes if it's not working out. But there was clearly no focal point up top for United. I think I don't know. I think it was probably a decision based on fitness, but at the end of the day, if you're a United fan, you probably want to see him play. You probably want to see your front three of Sesko, Mbomo, and Cunha, and you're not getting that. So, is what it is. That was probably the big game today, if we're all being real. I think it's getting to a point with United where you should probably begin to be concerned. You draw against. Here's the thing, though. You draw against Fulham. That should be a win. The loss against Arsenal, 1-0 against Arsenal at home, I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. I think probably most United fans expected to lose that game. I think a draw against Arsenal under those circumstances would have been a good result. So the fact that you're just going to lose 1-0 to Arsenal and you played pretty well, you had chances in that game, I don't think that's that much of a concern. The result today from United is really, really weird. I think a lot of United fans and people at the club are probably looking at it from a perspective of like, damn, we should have cashed in on Bruno Fernandes. And I think if there's any chance for United to potentially cash in on him again in the future, they should take that. But yeah, I really don't know at this point. United are going to play Burnley next weekend. They play Burnley on the 30th. I think you need a result there. You need to win 3-0. Like it's got to be a very, very significant victory for United in order for them to really, really actually have a feeling like they're turning things around, because currently it's I'd be really, really concerned if I was a United fan. Like I said, I wouldn't be concerned based on the Arsenal result, but I would be concerned with the result today against Fulham. You should have won that game. You should have won that game. You should have been 1-0 up early. You should be starting Sesko. You should be playing Kobe Mainoo. I don't know why Manchester United don't play Mainoo. I think that is insane. Bro from United, 26 going on 46. Yeah, Brian Mbomo's old. Very, very old. Old looking, at least. He's young. He's just old looking. It is what it is with United. I don't think their fans are probably going to be that happy with the result today. A point at Craven Cottage isn't the worst result, but if you're going to, we've talked about it a lot on the channel, we've talked about it a lot on the stream. What should be what should Manchester United want, or what should their expectations be for this upcoming season? And basically, as sad as it is, I've had United fans in the chat on previous streams saying that they feel that an 8th place finish for United would be kind of like the benchmark. Like if United finished 8th, it'd be like, okay, this was an improvement from last season. Anything higher than 8th place would be, like kind of like an extra, and anything under that would be them missing the mark. So if United finished 9th, 10th, or below, it would be them missing the mark. For me, I think that's insane that United have basically just gotten to a point where it's like, oh, 8th would be fine. Pushing towards a top 4 finish is not what the expectation is for a lot of United fans. I think that's wild. But on the flip side of those, I do think that when it comes down to it, I don't really believe that an 8th place finish is the expectation for a lot of United fans. I think that they want more. I think United fans are going to want to finish. So I think sixth is actually realistically the expectation for a lot of United fans. I think a good portion of them would be upset with an eighth place finish. I think if they finish sixth, it would be like, okay, end of the day, this is better than what we finished last season significantly. We're just off the mark of a fourth place finish, but we're trending in the right direction. The reality of the situation, though, is if United were to finish sixth, I think results like today are not conducive of them finishing sixth. I think United need to really pick up points in situations like when they're away at Craven Cottage and they go 1-0 up, and they didn't. There was the goal against or the goal that ML Smith Rowe scored today should have been defended better. You saw Dallo give the ball away poorly, and you saw Bruno Fernandes not track a run back. Why? Because Bruno Fernandes is not a number 8. Bruno is a number 10 who, for whatever reason, Emery does not want to play in that position. I don't really understand. I think it's a really weird position or weird situation at United where clearly Emery can recognize that Bruno Fernandes is a really talented player, but he can't fit him into his system. I don't understand why they don't play Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo's a brilliant footballer, but they just, for whatever reason, do not play him at all. And the reality of the situation is Manchester United love to just sack managers prematurely, constantly, and if that happens in this following Ruben Amorim, if they sack Amorim prematurely, they're going to run into a situation to where United are going to damage the relationship with Kobbie Mainoo, and then they're going to try to move on, and that relationship's not going to be mended, and you're going to run into a situation to where Mainoo is like a Marcus Rashford or any of these other players, to where you're going to have to loan him out or sell him or something along those lines because the relationship is damaged, it's irreparable. Yeah, it is what it is. I think he's I obviously don't want United to succeed, but I think that Mainoo kid is a really, really good young talent, and I think that they are not utilizing Mainoo in a proper way, or in a way that will be even advantageous towards their club, and that's sad to see, man. You don't want to see a kid that is that talented, has that much potential, just be that underutilized at their boyhood club, for God's sakes. Maybe there's a relationship issue with Amorim and Mainoo. I know that there was one, obviously, with Marcus Rashford, but I think the Rashford situation, I also think that just comes down to the fact that, there was a lot of situations that happened previously to Amorim coming in, and I just don't think Amorim was in a position to where he could mend the relationship between Marcus Rashford and Manchester United. I think that it was already damaged. I think Rashford knew it. I think Amorim knew it. I think a lot of people knew it. But hey, it is what it is. I guess going into what we realistically, the title of this stream is, the game this week or tomorrow, not even this weekend. We got Newcastle United and Liverpool at St. James's Park. I think Liverpool are going to absolutely batter that club. I think that club is completely in shambles. Look, we all know what's going on with the Alexander Isak situation. That's very, very public. Everyone knows. I don't think everyone knows the totality of the situation, but I think everyone has an understanding that things are not peachy over at Newcastle currently, and I think that's really, really going to I think that's had an impact on the club. I think that's had an impact on his teammates. I think Newcastle are a club that do not have a striker currently. Obviously, the Visa deal has not gone through. It really, really makes me laugh when I hear Newcastle United supporters bitch and moan, because that's what a lot of them do. They like to just bitch and complain and act as though they're a lot bigger of a club than they actually are. And that's no disrespect. I've always liked Newcastle, and I've always liked their fan base. Very blue-collar, hard-working, relatable people, but not for nothing. I've just seen countless of them just bitch and moan about this when it's like it's not a big club mentality what they're doing with the Isak situation. Look, Isak obviously wants to leave the club, and I think that the thing that frustrates me about it is that people are like, he's got a contract for sure. I totally get that, and it's totally understandable. But why are we acting as though this is a common thing to where a club won't let a player move on, not because the transfer fee is not what they deem adequate, but because they can't find a replacement? That's been my frustration with this entire thing, is that Alexander Isak wants to leave Newcastle. No disrespect, but quit pitching. Yeah. I think Newcastle, or Alexander Isak, has wanted to leave the club for quite some time, and we're running into a situation to where the club won't allow him to move on because they can't find a replacement. We know Liverpool. Let's say Newcastle put $140 million or £140 million valuation on Alexander Isak. If that's the case, I find it extremely hard to believe that Liverpool would not pay that fee. I think Liverpool 110% would pay that fee. And I at this point just believe that we're in a situation to where Newcastle are not they don't even care about the money at this point. They're more focused on finding replacements and not allowing their player to move on with their career until they're able to replace him. And we've seen that. Here's the thing is, the reason I know that this is the case is because Newcastle got turned down for going in for João Pedro. Newcastle got turned down going in for Sesko. Newcastle got turned down going in for Ekitike. Why? Those players went to bigger clubs. They went to Chelsea, United, and Liverpool respectively. Like, at the end of the day, it's okay that you're not a Big Six club and you're really trying to make moves in order to be a Big Six club. And I think that, like, people have kind of twisted the Isak situation into a weird one to where they're like, Liverpool fans don't understand it because, like, they're a big club. Yeah, obviously we are a big club, but what we understand is that when a player wants to go to a bigger club, you have to let them. And the people will always quote the Trent situation. And the Trent situation, for me, is not even remotely comparable to the Alexander Isak situation. Because Trent is from Liverpool. That's why Liverpool supporters were upset with Trent leaving, was because that up until we found out that Trent was going to go to Real Madrid, everything about Alexander-Arnold was representative that he was going to remain at Liverpool for the remainder of his career. I have struggled to find anything, any interview, anything of the sort that Isak has said, oh yeah, I want to stay at Newcastle for my entire career. This isn't even a guy who's been there for like 10 years or something like that, came up through the academy. This is a player that Newcastle bought from Real Sociedad. And granted, the only argument that I kind of actually agree with is when people will say, well, he shouldn't have signed a six-year deal. Ashley said Trent was kissing the badge. Yeah, he was. And that goes into it. You haven't seen Isak do that. But, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I do understand it where it's like people will be like, yeah, but the celebration after Isak scored the winner in the Carabao Cup final, where he ran over, stood up in front of the fans, was celebrating, like, it definitely gave off the impression that he was just Newcastle through and through. But that for me, that doesn't really matter too much. For me, the big differentiating factor between the Isak situation and the Trent situation is that you're also going to get £140 million potentially for Isak. You know, and Newcastle, it's so strange. You know, I think a more comparable situation is Isak to Coutinho. You know, because when Coutinho left, Liverpool fans understood it. At that time, Barcelona were a much bigger club than Liverpool. A lot of people would say they're still a bigger club than Liverpool. I disagree, but at least now it's really, really close. At the time, they were light years ahead of Liverpool. They had Suarez, Messi, Neymar at the club at that point. They were willing to spend 100 some odd million pounds 10 years ago on Phil Coutinho. So for me, that is a more comparable situation to where we saw a player want to go to a bigger club. We were going to get outrageous money that will change a club. When you get over £100 million for a player, that changes the finances at your club. You now have so much more money that you can invest into new talent. The problem is that why Newcastle are upset is you're giving away 20 goals in the Premier League, and Newcastle are a team that are teetering on potentially playing Champions League football, qualifying for Champions League week in and week out. So now we're in a situation to where, we're going to lose one of the biggest factors that can help us get Champions League football week in and week out. And they're realistically what they're trying to do now is they're trying to almost call the bluff of Isak and be like, you know what? That's fine. If you're not going to play, you're just not going to play. And he's obviously going to play, whether it be for Newcastle or Liverpool or whoever, because the World Cup is coming up. So you have to get minutes. But if that was not the case, I think if Isak was to just sit out the entire season, or at least halfway through the season, you're going to talk about a huge decrease in his market value to other clubs, whether it be Liverpool or another club want to come in for him. I really think, the most expensive Alexander Isak will be is this transfer window. I think you can get 140, 150 million pounds for Isak this transfer window. I think even if you wait into the winter, I think at that point maybe Isak is worth 80 million. I think it's only going to go down. So it's like, he don't want to be there. Why do Newcastle want to keep him? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's so odd. It really doesn't. It's like, I don't, for the life of me, whether it's the Premier League, whether it's any sport, if you have a player who does not want to play for your club, I don't understand the vehement nature of being like, well, you're going to stay here because you're on contract, when you can get 100 million plus pounds for him. You can get money that's going to change your club. And here's the thing is, why I think people have effectively been like, the owners, the Saudi owners at Newcastle are hard-headed. Yeah, because money doesn't mean anything to them. Their owners are rich. The owners of Newcastle United have more money than you can actually even rationalize in your head. I'm pretty sure they're like state-owned or something like that. It's insane. The amount of monies that Newcastle's owners actually have is egregious amounts of money. But the reality of the situation is that you can't spend that money because of PSR and financial fair play. You can have £200 million in the bank that you just can't spend because your team is not able to accrue that sort of revenue. So if they are to get 140 million for Isak, they can then reinvest that money when they wouldn't have been able to. They have that money in the bank, but they can't spend it. You can only spend the amount of money that your club makes. So a lot of people, obviously the Isak situation is probably the big reason that people are extremely excited for the game this upcoming weekend. Yeah, for sure. I completely understand. For the life of me, I don't understand why Newcastle are so making this some sort of weird rivalry between Liverpool and Newcastle. We haven't done anything. We're interested in a player that you have, and for whatever reason, Newcastle supporters are all up in arms that Liverpool want to sign Alexander Isak when he's shown interest in joining Liverpool. So for me, I don't really entirely understand what the issue is with Liverpool. your player wants to leave your club and join ours. That's not our fault. Maybe that's your fault for not being as big of a club as Liverpool. And realistically, that sucks. But you take the £140 million, you reinvest it, and you try to continue to build the club. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They just want to keep him and hope that eventually he'll change his mind, or hope that, well, we haven't found a replacement. So I guess what we're going to do is just we're just going to hold out and keep you here. We don't really have to sell you because it's in the contract. So it is what it is. I don't really understand it. I don't really understand why Newcastle supporters are trying to force a rivalry with Liverpool, but they are. So I think, and you probably could tell by the title of the stream today, I think Liverpool are absolutely going to batter Newcastle. I think it won't really even be competitive. And people might say, why? Liverpool have not looked that great so far this season. They didn't look good in the Community Shield. I'd agree with you. Liverpool haven't looked that great so far this season. But the area with which Liverpool have not looked great is the area with which their back four has not looked good. Okay, Newcastle's front line has looked garbage. You're playing Anthony Gordon effectively as a center forward when he's nowhere near the level of a Premier League center forward. So I'm not really too concerned with it, to be honest with you. Newcastle is begging for relevance. They're a relevant club. They're just shit. Like they're operating like a small club when they actually should be like, all right, we're not as big as Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, United. Like, that's fine, but like you're just a tier below that, and there's nothing wrong with that. You like there's no issue with oh, we can't bring in or Sesko when we're competing with Liverpool. We can't bring in, or when we're competing with United, we can't bring in Ekitike if we're competing with Liverpool. But for me, like, the fact that Newcastle were interested in Sesko is a key point in the fact that it's not about the money when it comes to Isak. It's about that they can't find a replacement. Because when Newcastle were interested in bringing in Ekitike, you can make an argument that they would have potentially found a way to play both Isak and Ekitike together. I don't think that was actually what that Newcastle were interested in. I think they wanted Ekitike to replace Isak, but you can make an argument that you could have played the two of them together, right? You cannot make an argument that slow-ass 6'6" Benjamin Sesko would have played alongside Alexander Isak. There's no way that they would have played together and it would have worked at all. Well, like, it just wouldn't have. It would have made absolutely no sense. So therefore, I just completely think that that's ridiculous. I think, the reality is Sesko chose United because United are a global club, or a bigger global club than Newcastle. That's fine. Yohan Wissa looks like he should be in at Newcastle. But Newcastle fans won't talk about how Wissa is basically telling Brentford he's not going to train for them, he's not going to play for them, basically doing the same exact thing that Isak's doing at Newcastle, and they're like, oh, we don't see anything wrong with it. That's insane to me. That's absolutely insane to me that you don't see the hypocrisy in that situation. But going in to how I think the game will actually go today, tomorrow rather, I think that the area where we're the weakest is our back four. Every Liverpool fan knows that that's the case. So I think that realistically, you're going to run into a situation to where you're going to have a shit front three from Newcastle going against a mediocre, maybe not completely shit back four of Liverpool, although they've looked way off it. Van Dijk didn't look good in the Community Shield, and Konate looked like garbage against Bournemouth. That's not like me being hard on them. I love both of those players, or rather I love one, the other one, until he signs a new deal and we're able to identify that he's not going to go to Real Madrid. And then I'll say I love Konate, but I'm not going to say that because I'm getting a little pissed off with the whole situation surrounding that. And we can also just probably acknowledge that Konate is going to leave Liverpool at the end of the season. I hope that means that Liverpool bring in Mark Gahey. Because that's the last thing that's really just annoying me is, yeah, obviously the Isak situation is really, really important. We want to bring him in because he's a huge global talent, but I don't think that that's the area we need to, back up the most. I think we need one more center back. Granted, we brought in Leone, the Italian kid, 18 years of age. Looks to be a really, really good talent, but I find it extremely hard to believe that Arne Slot brought in an 18-year-old, and that's going to be his backup option for his immediate backup option for Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. I don't know what's going on with Joe Gomez. The fact that it's 2025 and Joe Gomez is still a Liverpool Football Club player is nearly baffling to me, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really want to talk too much shit about Joe Gomez because he's been a loyal servant to the club, but he's just off it. Like, Joe Gomez is not, like, no Liverpool fan will tell you that they feel confident when Joe Gomez comes on for Liverpool Football Club. And like, again, not just to shit on Joe Gomez, it's the reality of the situation. Sometimes the guy looks like Maldini, sometimes the guy looks like Harry Maguire. That just is what it is when it comes to Joe Gomez. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Is what it is. And I don't know why Liverpool have sold any. There have been many players that have been, sometimes good, sometimes shit that we've sold. Darwin Núñez, perfect example. It looks like Costa Tsimikas is another one that could be out the door that we're going to sell. Yet we've had a decade of Joe Gomez being below the standard at Liverpool, and we've kept him around. He's fragile. He gets hurt all the time, so it's not even like he's reliable coming off of the bench. But we're going to keep him at Liverpool. I don't get it. I think the reason is because Joe Gomez can also play as a fullback. That's why we've brought him in. But not for nothing, we have Frimpong and Bradley are our two right backs, and then we have Robertson and Kirkes are our two left backs. So if we have two fullbacks who realistically should be competing for starting spots, granted, Frimpong's already injured. We know Connor Bradley gets injured all of the time. So, I do understand that it's like we probably do need a center back that can play as a fullback. I don't think the answer is Joe Gomez. I do think that Liverpool need to bring in another center back. I hope it's Mark Gahey. But again, I just haven't seen any movement on that entire thing. I haven't seen anything that'll indicate, yeah, definitely Mark Gahey's going to be coming to the club. Poor Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace haven't looked bad so far this season, and they look good in the Community Shield. They just lost Eze. There's a good chance that they lose Mark Gahey. They'll get a boatload of money. But see, here's the thing is, obviously Newcastle are a bigger club than Crystal Palace. But I would say they're probably closer to Crystal... Not even probably. I would say Newcastle are closer to Crystal Palace than they are to Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Chelsea. So you look at how Newcastle have reacted with the Eze situation, or Crystal Palace fans rather have reacted around the Eze situation. A lot of them have been class. A lot of them have been like, look, end of the day, he's won us a trophy after Crystal Palace haven't won a trophy in 100 years or some shit like that. He's helped us win a trophy. He's done a shift at the club. Now the club that have supported it, or he's been a supporter of since he's been a literal child, have come in interested in him. He's done what he can. He's behaved like a class act, for God's sakes, and now he's going to go on and leave. And a lot of them have been like, that's cool. They've had no issues with it, but Newcastle aren't acting like that. Newcastle aren't happy that someone like Alexander Isak, who won the Carabao Cup, is effectively trying to do the same exact thing. It's a similar situation as there is at Crystal Palace, and the reality is that the fan base is acting completely different. I think it's bullshit, but who knows? But yeah, I think, look, when it comes down to it, if Darren said Salah and Virgil van Dijk's legs have gone, I don't think Salah's legs have gone. I don't like. I'll tell you what though, Salah was pretty shit against Bournemouth up until he scored a goal, but at least he scored a goal. I think Virgil's legs, you definitely can have a real argument there that Virgil's legs are starting to go at the very least. I think when it comes down to it, Darren, I would not agree on Salah just yet. Obviously, both are really, really old, but Virgil's legs, questioning it because our back four looks garbage. Our back four doesn't look good, and I think a big part of that is Ibu Konate. To be honest with you, I think Konate was worse against Bournemouth than Virgil was, but the reality is Van Dijk looked shaky in the Community Shield. Gave away a needless penalty. No reason for Van Dijk to give that penalty away in the Community Shield. He's going across the 18-yard box, and he puts in a foot, not knowing that he's going to even have an opportunity to win the ball. Didn't really like it. Carmino Pila says hi. What's going on, Carmino? Welcome to the video, brother. I'm glad that I can actually get chat up on the screen now. It's fantastic. I wouldn't say Salah and Virgil's legs have gone just yet, but I'm concerned about Virgil. And that goes back to what I was just saying a minute ago, that we need to bring in another center back. I think we really, Gahey. For me, the reality of the situation is, I think that I would like to see us bring in Gahey because I want to see I want to see this 18-year-old kid, the Italian kid, but I don't think he has the experience yet to really that we can definitely say for sure that he's going to play at the highest level and do what we need or expect at Liverpool Football Club. But I am fairly hopeful on him. Fairly hopeful we get the Gahey deal done. Hopefully Konate will, I would love if Konate signed another contract at Liverpool, but that's the shit part about it right now is that it looks like the Konate situation could potentially end up similar to the Trent one, where his contract's just going to expire and he's going to go Real. And the thing that's interesting to me about these players just being so fucking weird when it comes to Real Madrid is, it's I don't really get it. I don't. Sure, you're gonna be put on an insane wages, and you're guaranteed to win trophies. But I don't really get it. So the big one for me with Trent is right. Trent was in an interview and he said he wanted to win a Ballon d'Or as a right back. I don't know what he's smoking, but right backs don't win Ballon d'Ors. The reality is everyone was up in arms that a holding midfielder won the Ballon d'Or, let alone a right back, for God's sakes. People were crying because Rodri won a Ballon d'Or. You're a right back. What are we doing here? Who is in Trent's ear and is yeah, I actually fully believe that you could win a Ballon d'Or as a right back. As a right back? You're not going to win the Ballon d'Or. Even as a center back, do you know how hard it would be for a center back to think about Virgil when he lost out to Messi for the Ballon d'Or? And granted, it was Messi, for sure, understand. But Virgil was unbelievable that season, and he lost out to Messi in the Ballon d'Or. A center back who is, more important than a right back in the structure of how football works. You think you're gonna? That's what I don't get. That's what a lot of people have said. They think Trent went to Real because he could potentially win a Ballon d'Or, but I don't know who on earth is telling him yeah, you have a good chance at winning a Ballon d'Or as a right back, but you don't have a really good chance. And Konate, yeah, you're probably going to get put, if you do decide that you want to go to Real, there's a strong possibility that you could potentially, get wages that are just egregious, just you should do outrageous money. But I also think if you were to I find it hard to believe that Liverpool wouldn't just throw the book at Konate too if he was to sign a new deal with Liverpool. Like, I think he would probably be put on like 250 grand a week or something like that. But money talks. I mean, we had Luis Diaz on like 60 grand a week. He's earning something like the high 200s now at Bayern, or 300s or something insane. These guys, it's like, but when it comes down to it, I think Liverpool were not going to pay that money to Luis Diaz. There was a stronger possibility that they would have potentially, spent that money on. I think there's a higher potential that they would spend that money on Konate versus Luis Diaz. I just don't, I don't know. I really don't. I think, but I'm interested. I'm interested in this game. I do think that we're probably going to batter Newcastle. I think probably 3-0, 4-1, something along those lines. I don't think Newcastle are going to be able to, stand the front three that Liverpool have. I'll be interested to see what center midfield. The three in midfield for Liverpool tomorrow will be really, really interesting to me. Obviously Gravenberch had his child, so he's been out for quite some time. That given that his I don't know if it's his wife, partner, whoever was giving birth to their child, he was out for that. He's been, and then also too on top of that, he was serving a 1-match ban against Bournemouth because he got sent off at the end of last season. He's been so missed in that center of midfield. I don't know how many of you watch my streams and my videos that often, but I, for one, don't think Dominic Szoboszlai should start for Liverpool ever. I don't think. I'm sorry. I think he played a lot better, in my opinion, for our game against Bournemouth than he did in the Community Shield. And our fan base is so strange when it comes to Dominic Szoboszlai. I think, frankly, far too many people have a bit of a crush on him, and it's a little, questionable why you just go out and defend this guy all the time when I'm watching him in the Community Shield get stripped of possession in the center of the park. I don't understand it. I really, I actually like watching it sometimes. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't entirely understand the glaze of Dominic Szoboszlai. Don't get me wrong, decent enough player. Has he done anything for people will compare Szoboszlai to the likes of Alexis McAllister. That, to me, you are smoking crack if you actually think Szoboszlai, from what we've seen at Liverpool, is even remotely close to Alexis McAllister. Insane. I'll go out on a limb. I'll say that Ryan Gravenberch has offered more to the midfield of Liverpool Football Club than Szoboszlai has, and Gravenberch only played last season. His first season under Klopp didn't even use him. We didn't even know that Gravenberch was supposed to be a holding midfielder because Klopp only ever played him as number 8. And then Slot comes in and is like, we actually haven't bought a holding midfielder, so we're going to play Grav as a holding midfielder, and he's been brilliant. Szoboszlai came to Liverpool. For the first 3 months, he was electric. I remember the goal in the FA Cup against Leicester. That was a belter. The guy at first, I was backing him. I was like, this guy looks unbelievable. Since then, underwhelming. And the Community Shield was case in point for me. He was shocking in the Community Shield. Completely and utterly shocking. Yeah, so I just got an update from Fabrizio Romano. Rodrigo starts for Real Madrid back in the 11 under Xabi Alonso. That's another one that's been so strange to me. All these people who are like, oh, Rodrigo should go to Liverpool. Rodrigo should go to Arsenal. I never once, ever actually thought that he was going to leave Real Madrid. Did I at certain points think, ooh, there's a chance, there's a slight, chance that he could potentially leave Real, come to the Premier League? For sure, but I did not think that there was any real substance behind that potential. Never once. I knew he was going to start, he was going to stay at Real, because all of these, especially, I'm pretty sure Liverpool, I've seen reports that Liverpool apparently were interested in Rodrigo in the past, but just like when he was playing in Brazil, they submitted a bid or something along those lines. They were kind of interested in Rodrigo, but he didn't want to go to Liverpool or something like that. And like a year later, ended up signing with Real Madrid or something along those lines. Maybe it wasn't even Liverpool. Maybe I'm just chatting shit and it was another Premier League club. But yeah. I never once actually thought that there was any real likelihood Rodrigo was going to go to Liverpool. But going back to our potential, game against Newcastle tomorrow, I think it's going to be fairly one-sided, 4-1, 3-0. I would love if we could keep a clean sheet. I would really, really love if Liverpool could actually keep a clean sheet and not give away needless goals. I felt the goals in the Community Shield were needless against Bournemouth. The fact that we actually let them get back into that game was insane. Another thing I'd actually really, really like, I'd really, really hope that Liverpool can actually give some more time to Federico Chiesa potentially in this upcoming game, because for whatever reason we spent money on signing him and then we just decided, we actually don't need to use Chiesa for whatever reason. We should never, ever utilize him. And granted, last season there were a couple instances specifically in the FA Cup final, in the FA Cup match where we lost to, I believe it was like Preston or something like that. Embarrassing. I thought Chiesa was pretty poor in that game. There were a couple of other times where I felt he, kind of got an opportunity and then didn't play his best. So there is that aspect of it. But I'm really, really interested to see if he gets some more opportunities this season, and I'd like if tomorrow he gets some more opportunities. I don't. Gakpo done all right. I've seen some people in previous streams. So like the Community Shield, I thought Gakpo played all right. I thought it was dumb that Gakpo had to track back as much as he did. To offer some support to Kirkez in the Community Shield, especially in the first half. We saw situations where Gakpo was literally playing as our left back. It was insane. But obviously, that wasn't as much the case in the Bournemouth game, although Kirkez did not play well. Frimpong played pretty, obviously scored. Did not mean to shoot it in the Community Shield, but played all right in the Community Shield. Played decent enough in the Bournemouth game. Wasn't that concerned. I haven't been that impressed with Kirkez thus far, I'll be real. David, what's going on, man? How we doing? Oh, Lewis said Plymouth. That's who it was. Thanks, Lewis. I appreciate it. I knew I was a bit off. I knew it was, I knew it was one of those championship teams. So thank you, Lewis, for... Yeah. So KB said 15 people watching. Let's like the stream, people, and support our fellow Red Man. Oh, dude, I really, really appreciate it, KB. Thank you, brother. I really, really appreciate it, brother. KB TV, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Lewis said, no problem. Yeah, Lewis, I appreciate that, man. I always forget who we lost to in the FA Cup last season. That was obviously a game worth forgetting. It was really, really just, we were so off of it that day. But yeah, I really, really hope, and also everyone, I just checked, KBTV in the chat, he also, makes, YouTube videos as well, so, please go follow KB as well. I really, really appreciate his support. Please go follow KB as well. I'm going to subscribe, do all of those. Just subscribe to him as well. Why can't I? Hold on, sorry. My damn computer's all messed up. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for the game tomorrow. I do think that there's a real possibility that we just batter Newcastle. The worst, what's my Premier League hot take? My Premier League, it's interesting you say that, Ash. My hot take this season was that United will finish top 6, but United, I don't know if if that's still what I would say is my hot take. I would say the hottest take that I have in the Premier League okay, I got a good one. This isn't for this season, but I would say from a Liverpool perspective, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I would say at their best, Andy Robertson was better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Consistently. Now, Trent's best game might be better than Andy's best game. I will never disagree that. But if you were going to look at them from, those 3 seasons, Andy was unbelievable. 3-4 seasons. I felt he was so much more of a better player based on consistency for us than Trent was. Because that's the thing that's really, really interesting about this Trent move to Real Madrid is, what I don't think a lot of people take into consideration is, yeah, obviously, the Liverpool supporters have booed Trent, all those things, and have kind of gotten a little bit of flack for it. But the reality is that what a lot of people, I think, don't really understand from the outside looking into Liverpool supporters is that Trent got a lot of leeway from Liverpool supporters when he put in a stinker. He would get a lot of Liverpool supporters who wouldn't be as hard on him, just due to the fact that he was a local lad. And I think that's why the reaction was so hard on Trent when it got announced that he was going to be leaving the club. So I think that, we have seen some bad performances from Andy Robertson over the past couple of seasons. But in my personal opinion, at their best, I would say Andy was a little bit of a better player just based on consistency than Trent was. That would probably be, one of my biggest Liverpool hot takes, I would say. But I do just want to give a shout out to everyone watching along on the stream. Make sure to like the video, get in the chat, ask any questions that you want, Liverpool related, Premier League related, anything related. I don't give a damn. Also, too, I have my speak pipe in the description. It's a voicemail service to where you guys can leave a voicemail asking any question. If you don't want to hop in the chat and you want to be a part of the stream, want to be a part of making your voice heard, please click the speak pipe down below in the description. Leave a voicemail. I'll play it live on stream and get your voice heard. Get anything that you really, really want to talk about out. So please do that. But also, too, if you don't want to, your voice heard, please get in the chat. Ask any questions you want. Liverpool related, Premier League related, football related in general. Anything you want, please let me know, guys. I really, really appreciate all your guys' support. Also, I don't know if I even mentioned it, but also subscribe to the channel. Please. I make daily, weekly football content. Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to stream during the game tomorrow. But, hey, I appreciate all you guys' support. We've got a couple subscribers from this stream. Looks like maybe I'm tripping. It looks like we got like 26 people watching along at this point. I don't know. It goes up and down all the time. So, yeah. Let me think. I'm trying to think of Ashley asked for Premier League hot takes. That was my more Liverpool-related hot take. But I would say just Premier League hot take. I would say for this season, Chelsea are really, really going to compete for the Premier League title. I think Chelsea, I was really, really impressed with Chelsea in the Club World Cup, a competition that is damn near new at this point. We all know the Club World Cup, kind of always has been just a weird nothing. This past summer, it obviously was a lot more important. Nobody thought that Chelsea were actually going to really, really compete. A lot of people felt as though Chelsea were a team that probably shouldn't have even been in the Club World Cup. A lot of people were asking that question, like, why are they even in the Club World Cup? And then they went out, performed brilliantly, and won the whole damn competition. I think that Chelsea, too, over the past couple of seasons, a lot of fans, like myself, have been critical on the business that Chelsea have done because it's been so strange. It's putting all of these players onto these, long contracts, and then Is this the same set of bin dippers who got British teams banned for years after Haitian riots? Issue. You're so far up your own backsides. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. I honestly, I have absolutely. Did you not just see, Lawrence? Did you not just see a bunch of kids just chase down Alexander Isak's car the other day and were throwing shit at it? You moron! Do you think that if anyone was issuing any sort of threats or anything like that to Steve and Gerrard, that I'd back that? You moron! You stupid dense idiot! Get out of my chat. Or if you're going to stay in my chat, actually come with some sort of substance. This is the same fan base that we're... Shut up. Do you think I'm backing any sort of rioting or backing any sort of death threats or anything like that? You absolute idiot. You're a moron. You're an absolute moron. Your club's acted like a bunch of small people, and you won't even talk about any of your own actions. I just saw a bunch of kids chasing down Alexander Isak's car, throwing shit at it and stuff like that. You dense idiot. You big dumb idiot. Lawrence Gill. It didn't even pop up in the side chat. Only popped up in on the stream on the screen. Probably because you have to watch what you say on YouTube. But I'm glad it popped up on my screen. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, and your club is a joke. Your club is a complete and utter joke. KB said, thanks so much for the shout out, bro. Much appreciated. Do you think we need Isak? I think we need it more than Lawrence will actually realize. They probably need Isak a little bit more. I'm sorry, KB. I'm a little fired up by that big, dense idiot joining my stream and talking about that. If you actually think for a second that I would ever support anyone, you need to do your research on me if you think I would support anyone issuing any sort of threats to Steven Gerrard, you moron. Going back to KB. Also, anyone watching along, subscribe to KB's channel. He's the man. Thanks for the shout out, bro. Much appreciated. Do you think we need Isak? I don't think we need him, but I obviously would like if Isak came to the club. I think, look, he's one of the best forwards in world football, and one of the best that we saw in the Premier League last season, of course. But I don't think if you were to say comparatively, KB, I would definitely say that I think that we need someone like Mark Gahey more than we need Alexander Isak. Look, Ekitike looks brilliant. I don't really... The thing that interests me, KB, is if we were to actually bring in Isak, how would we utilize him? Because Ekitike looks fantastic so far. I think every Liverpool fan is really, really excited for Ekitike to come into the club. Or everyone's excited for Ekitike going forward. But how are we going to use him? Are we then going to use Ekitike off of the left if we're going to bring in Isak because Isak's going to play down the middle? Or is Isak going to play off of the left? A while ago, may have been David, to be honest with you, said that it might have been David Priest or Orchestra who said that we, I guess for Sweden, Isak plays off of the left more often. Yeah, I'd be really interested. The Isak thing, I don't think we need him, KB, but I would be really, really interested, to see how he would be utilized, because I really, really am excited about this Ekitike kid. I don't know how we would use Ekitike and Isak as well as Mo Salah. Maybe. We would look to sell Salah at the end of the season, and maybe that we're going to try to play a front two with the two of them in the future. It's so interesting. And then you have to bring into consideration Cody Gakpo, who I think has looked well, although some of our supporters in previous streams have voiced their concern and their issues with Gakpo. So we'll see, man. I don't think we need him. I think, there's a lot of bullshit going on with that situation, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I don't think we need him. I think we definitely need a guy like Mark Gahey more at center back. But yeah, and I apologize, KB. We had that big idiot join the chat and leave a chat. It didn't even pop up in my chat on the side. It only popped up on my chat. on the screen. It probably got like filtered out by YouTube or something like that. But yeah, just to circle back to that guy, you're a big dumb idiot. You actually think if there was any issue and any sort of threat to Steven Gerrard that I would back that sort of behavior? You're a moron. And it's not just Steven Gerrard, but that's just like I'd rather meet Gerrard than any U.S. president ever. So for anyone acting as though, oh yeah, you guys. Also, when that was happening, when there was potential for Gerrard getting transferred, I was all of like 10. Like, so I don't know how on earth I would have been doing that. I don't know what riots he's talking about as well. You're an idiot. I hope you're still in the chat. I know you probably left that chat and scampered off like a little bitch. But yeah, screw you. You're a bitch. Yeah, but like I said, I don't know. Let me check the speak pipe, see if anyone's left a voicemail. For anyone still watching along, feel free to drop a speak pipe to me. It's down below in the description. It's a voicemail you can drop. I'll play it live on stream if anyone wants to get their voice heard. If you don't want to get your voice heard, no worries at all. But please make sure to get in the chat, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you all so very much. Yeah, and then any questions, any football-related topics, please let me know. I will be happy to cover it. Unless it's that Lawrence guy. But actually, though, I hope Lawrence gets back in the chat. I want all the smoke with that idiot, that moron. like, who on earth, like, actually, like, do you just think just ever, like, this is my problem is with modern football fans, right? Is that we'll have like a collection of fans that will act like a bunch of idiots, act like a bunch of like literal pieces of garbage. And it's not just Liverpool, it's not just Newcastle, Arsenal, like every club has these just like people that take the sport, grown men kicking a ball, way too serious, and then they'll act out and do just some heinous shit, and then rival fans will be like, oh yeah, you guys back that heinous crap that like one of your fans did. It's like, no, none of us do. Like majority of our fans think that whoever behaved that way, is an idiot, and we should just get rid of them. It's like the piece of garbage that was at the Bournemouth game, and said something to Semenyo. Like, get him out. Don't let him ever come back to Anfield again. Could care less if he's handicapped. Like, that's the sort of stuff I stand by. So it's like, you come on here and you start being like, yeah, you lot were issuing threats to Steven Gerrard when he potentially was going to leave Liverpool. Not me. Not me. L that fan, bro. There's good vibes in here, and he's trying to mess up vibes with such negativity and stupidity. Appreciate you, KB. Shout out KB, anyone in the chat. Please go subscribe to KB's channel. He's the man. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah. You know what, though? It just comes to a head with some of these people. That's like, these Newcastle supporters, it's like, I don't get it. Like, I like, they're trying to... If Newcastle supporters have an issue with Isak, I completely understand that. In a lot of respects, like I don't really like how Isak's behaved with this whole situation. You're getting paid millions of pounds to play professional football for Newcastle, who's a huge club. What are you sitting out for? And then he comes out and he says, what I didn't like about Isak was he came out and said that there were promises that had been broken between the club and him. But like once that happens, I'm like, all right, what are the promises then? What specifically was promised to you that Newcastle had broken? Because I don't like when these players come out and they start talking, because then it's like, well, what are you talking about? Because you just say these vague things. So I honestly and truthfully, as a Liverpool supporter, I haven't really loved how Alexander Isak has behaved. I would love him if he came to the club, but like, obviously it's like his behavior. I haven't loved it all too much, and I can understand if I was a Newcastle fan, then I would be like, what do you mean you're not going to play for us? Like I don't understand it. On the flip side of things, I do understand from Isak's perspective, if the sole reason that Newcastle are not willing to sell him is because Newcastle haven't been able to find a replacement, it's not Isak's job to sit around and wait while you preemptively find a replacement for him. Because that's not the case. Like you need to End of the day, like if he wants to leave, and you have had discussions about him leaving, then you have to talk about that. Destroyed Guy said, "Hi, what's going on, Destroyed Guy? Thanks for joining the chat again, man. Appreciate having you join." Yeah, I think yeah, I don't rate that at all. And you know what though, when it comes down to it, you have these guys. They not Destroyed Guy. Destroyed Guy, I know you probably just joined. There's a Newcastle fan who joined earlier, and spouted off a bunch of nonsense in the chat. You know what it is though? KB, Destroyed Guy, David, everyone that's following along in the chat. When I do my streams, everyone sees it. I have the speak pipe here. That's not just for Liverpool fans and people that agree with me and things that I say. If you have an issue, call into the stream, leave a voicemail, and we'll talk about it. But these guys, I've seen it multiple times. Destroyed Guy said, "How are you doing?" I'm doing fantastic, brother. How are you doing? That's most important. It's these guys. I've seen it before. These rival fans will get in. I've seen people join the chat, drop a chat, and then dip out afterwards. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. I really couldn't really give a shit less. Like, it is what it is. If you want to act like a pansy, you can. But it is what it is. KB said, "Great insight on the Isak point, bro. But I think we really need to sign him to make a statement, bro. And the fact Salah will be playing AFCON and Christmas and might miss the Arsenal game." Yeah, I think I totally get that. I definitely think bringing in another forward option would not be a detriment to Liverpool. I certainly don't think that. But I definitely, for me, man, the part that worries me about it is, like I said, I have such an emphasis on us needing to bring in a center back that I think if we just solely focus on bringing in Isak, bringing in a striker, that's not in the best interest of Liverpool Football Club. Destroyed Guy said, "Just got done with my birthday celebration." Big happy birthday to Destroyed Guy. More life, my brother. I appreciate you joining in the stream. Happy birthday is all. I hope you had a really, really fun birthday, man. Happy birthday to you. I have a birthday coming up as well. Had very, very much a happy birthday to you, brother. More life, as always. Wishing you a great year coming up for you. Destroyed Guy, how old are you? You have to let me know in the chat. I'd love to know how old you are. And I have a birthday coming up in just under 3 weeks. I'd love for anyone to guess how old I'm turning. I love that. More life, my brother. Yeah, Ashley gets it. More life, baby. It's past 12, so yeah, my birthday is over. Don't matter. Still happy birthday. It's your birth week, dude. Past 12, you must be over in Europe. Is it? No, you must. It's not even in Europe. It's not even past 12 in Europe. You must be in, like, Destroyed Guy. Where do you live? Do you live in, like, Australia or something like that? 17. Happy 17th birthday, dude. Happy 17th birthday, Destroyed Guy. I hope that was you telling me how old you're going to be and not guessing guessing my age. More life, brother. Well done, Ash. More life. I've been listening to far too much Drake, as you can tell. Going on 40. Who do you think Asia. Destroyed Guy lives in Asia. That's it. All right. That's sick, man. Happy birthday. Happy 17th, bro. That's sick. Lewis Jones says, "Who do you think will win the Golden Boot?" Who do I think will win the Golden Boot? Ooh. I'm not going to guess Salah because it's an AFCON year. So it wouldn't make sense to guess Salah. Who will win the Golden Boot? I'm trying to just rack through. I have one thought in my head, but I don't. All right. Holland obviously comes to my head when you say who do you think will win the Golden Boot. Holland is probably like who always will come to my mind whenever that question comes up. I'll give you 3 people who I think have a really, really good chance. Haaland, I think, probably would be my number 1 potential shout for winning the Golden Boot. Destroyed Guy said Isak. I don't know. The problem with Isak, Destroyed Guy, is, he's sitting out a couple games, and I don't want to guess Isak because if Isak comes to Liverpool, obviously there's a huge chance he could win the Golden Boot. But the reality is, though, bro, if Isak if Isak sits out a lot of games, I don't think that there's a chance he'll win it. Clark Kent said, "Smash the like button, people." Thank you. Yes, definitely smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Jump in the speak pipe. Leave me a voicemail. I'll play it live on stream down below in the description. But shout out to Clark Kent reminding everyone to smash the like button. Yeah, I'll give you. Going back to Lewis. Lewis, I think Erling Haaland. I'm going to say João Pedro and Hugo Ekitike. Those are my 3 guesses. I'm not going to guess Salah just because it's a AFCON year, so just missing those games is not going there. KB is a lot nicer than Ashley. He said 40 is crazy. I think bro is 22. You're complimenting me now. I'm not 22. I'll tell you I'm a bit older than that. And KB, I will give a little spoiler as well. The kind person who said going on 40 is my missus. So she's in the other room right now with the stream playing and kind of taking the piss out of me. And I'm getting old, so she knows obviously she knows I'm getting old, but she knows that I'm a little pissed that I'm getting old, so she's saying I'm going on 40. Clark Kent said also free Isak. Of course free Isak. We need to free the real. Destroyed Guy said Gyökeres or Sesko. I have been on the record, man. I think Gyökeres is not going to be that great. I've gotten a lot of stick for my opinion on Victor Gyökeres. A lot of people have basically told me that I'm wrong and I'm a moron. And yeah, I don't think that Gyökeres is I don't think he's going to be great realistically. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, that's a lie. I don't think he's great. I think he's far too slow for the Premier League. I know he scored, twice in the weekend, but it was against Leeds. Like, we all knew Arsenal. Like, at the end of the day, like, he does still play for a team that's finished 3rd or 2nd consecutively for, 3 seasons. Arsenal, as much as we all like to take the piss out of Arsenal are a brilliant team. So, we can't act as though Arsenal are not a good football club, and he will get goals because of it, but I don't think that Gyökeres will pan out to be that great. If I'm wrong, I will eat that. I'll make videos about it like I've done in the past. And then Benjamin Sesko. Sesko could do well. I think he only scored 13 goals in the Bundesliga, though, last season. So, I don't think that there's a And also, too, United aren't starting him. It's so weird. Today, United had him on the bench. They brought him in after, 60 minutes or something like that. But, yeah. I appreciate KB saying I look like I'm 22. That's awesome. That makes me feel a lot better. Because I recently was out, and someone told me how old I looked, and it was a lot. It was a lot older than 22. Probably a lot older than I'm going to be. Well, not really, actually. It was closer to how old I'm going to be than 22. Someone told me I looked like I was in my 30s. It made me upset, but cat's out of the bag. I'm turning 29 in September, so I am almost 30. So, but I appreciate you telling me I look like I'm 22 years of age. That's fantastic. I'm definitely going to walk around my house for the remainder of the day and be pumped that someone told me I look like I'm 22 years old. Destroyed Guy got in the chat. I was telling Gyökeres for a second because of some obvious reasons. KB said, my judgment is based off that fresh and crisp hairline. So, a lot of people, KB, I just want to say, again, everyone, go subscribe to KB's channel. Because he's quickly becoming one of my favorite chatters of all time on my streams. I do want to just point out, Destroy Guy, you have to clarify what you mean there. I was telling Yakarez for a second because of some obvious reasons. I'm assuming you're probably because of the goals this weekend. We're talking hairlines. Look at that. Would you believe that? Granted, don't mind the hat marks I have. Would you believe that is a hairline of a man pushing 30? Oh my days! Look at that. Look at that. That is a crisp hairline. Nowadays people that get to so I appreciate you, KB, for acknowledging my beautiful hairline. I appreciate that. It's one of my striking features. I like to say. I can just only imagine the cringe my wife is having in the other room watching the stream right now. But Destroy Guy said Arsenal reference. I get what you're saying. Arsenal obviously, probably. I think Arsenal were probably a little concerned with the performance against United. I didn't think that they performed that well, but I do think that they obviously have did quite well, pushing 35 maybe. Wow, laughing emojis. That's messed up. Okay, Luffy is God said, wow, new channel. What if the loss in the Carabao Cup is to blame for this? Isak scored the goal. Now Poole is free to say it's on Newcastle to high price and back out. Isak could be furious. He. Not sure what you mean, Luffy, but I appreciate it. I don't know if you're saying you're new to the channel, but if you are, please subscribe, like the video, get in the speak pipe, leave me a voicemail, play it live. I don't know what you mean. Wow, new channel. What if the loss in the Carabao Cup is to blame for this? Isak scored the goal. Now Poole is free to say it's on Newcastle. Too high price and back out. Isak would be furious. I will be honest. I'm a little confused on what you mean by that. He obviously scored the goal in the Carabao Cup final, Luffy. And I think that's probably a big reason Liverpool won. Isak has always historically done very, very well against Liverpool in the Premier League. He's always scored goals against us for years now at this point. So I think that has a huge part in Liverpool wanting to sign him, because he's always scored goals against us. I think is a huge reason the club want to bring him in. I think, but if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Anyone else that's new to the channel, please subscribe. Please like the video as well. Don't forget to follow my socials. They're all in the description. Follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. I still call it Twitter because I'm pushing 40 apparently. So, these are things that when you get middle-aged, people like to point out all the time. I got ID'd yesterday though, so I was pretty sick. Oh man, it's a wild thing that you guys never get to see on stream is I don't have AC in this room currently, and I am in a hoodie and I'm sweating. So there's that aspect of the entire situation. But let me know what other football takes you guys want me to talk about. Anything you guys want to say, anything you want me to cover. This has been a really, really good stream. I appreciate all of you joining on to chat with me as well. Yesterday's stream was a little bit of a letdown, but today's stream, it has been absolutely electric. I love it. I love everyone's opinions. KB said, I heard you talking about us needing a center back. Would you still have felt the same if Kwanzaa was still with us? No, not as much, KB. I definitely, if Kwanzaa was still with us, I would feel if Kwanzaa was still with us and we signed the 18-year-old kid, I definitely wouldn't have. I definitely wouldn't feel the same way. I definitely would think that those are 4 good center back options. And I definitely wouldn't feel the same way. I think I talked about it a little bit earlier in the stream. I think Joe Gomez. I just question when Liverpool are going to wise up and just realize that the relationship with Joe Gomez has kind of run its course at this point, and we move on. But that hasn't happened just yet, so it is what it is. I definitely know. I think I always thought Kwanzaa was decent. Um, I always thought that Ibrahima Konate would be and should be the number one choice over Kwanzaa next to Virgil van Dijk. But I joining late to Connor Woods. Oh, hi Connor. Said joining late. What do you think of the VAR situation in the United game this afternoon? Yeah, talked about United a little bit earlier in the stream, Woodsy. It's just like I didn't like the decision. I mean, ball don't lie either. Bruno missed the penalty as well. I didn't like it. I don't. VAR's just so shit nowadays, and I mean it's always been pretty garbage. But it's for me, Woods, I think I definitely didn't think it was a penalty. I think you guys should have won that game. For those of you who don't know, Connor Woods is a United fan. Get on him in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Be nice to him, please. Yeah, I think I definitely think it shouldn't have been a penalty. I think that was a game you guys should have looked to see out to. The Smith Rowe goal, you guys just really let that one go. Kenny Scoggins, shout out Kenny, said, see, Arsenal have copied Chiesa's song for Eze. Such cringe fans. Yeah, they are. They're a bunch of weird individuals. Well, not all of them. Some Arsenal fans are quite good, and oftentimes I see Arsenal fans' reactions online, and it makes me chuckle. But, yeah, they're weird. Connor Wood said, yeah, killed the game for a while. Yeah, I think that was a game, Woods, that, like, I was talking about it. So I've had previous streams in the past and been like, what should the expectation be for United? And I've had United fans basically say, I think that 8th should be where we should try to look to finish. And Alte is terrible on corners. Yeah. I mean, is what it is. But is that Bayinder's first name? Alte? It sounds like Alte Bayinder would be a logical name for the goalkeeper. But I think the goal that Smith Rowe scored was Dalot gives away possession. Bruno doesn't track a runner. I don't know why you guys don't use Mainu. I was talking about that a little bit earlier in the stream. Why is Mainu not being used? Gavin H said 3-1 tune, no shot. I think we beat you guys 4-1, 3-0. Gavin, no offense. With all due respect, I think we're gonna batter you. I think going forward, you're not that great. Obviously, our back four has been pretty bad, but yeah, I don't think you'll do that great. Wood said, yeah, I agree. Yes, yeah. I'll tell you what though. Woods, going back to the United game, Cunha could have been on a hat trick inside like 10 minutes. Hit the post. He's so good. And Bomo looks good. I was saying a little bit earlier in the stream, Woods, that I just think you guys, I don't know if it's fitness related or what, you just need to start Sesko. It's quite clear that you just don't have a focal point up top currently. I think you just need to start Sesko. I'm sure it's probably fitness related why he hasn't started, but you definitely, I think, need to start Sesko. I also think Mainu needs to get way more time than he currently has been getting. Mainu's, in my opinion, he's a brilliant player. And I talked about it a little bit earlier in the stream. I kind of opened talking about United a little bit, Woods. I think United need to be a little concerned with the situation around Mainu because I think he's a really, really good player. And we've seen it time and time again where players really, really, like, at United, like, managers won't really have a great relationship with them and their time will decrease. And then that manager ends up getting sacked. And then the player tries to get reintegrated to the team with the new manager. And it's just the reality is that, like, the relationship gets hurt from a previous manager. Wood said, yeah, that was tough, but Cunha looks the part. Sesko hasn't done anything in his 2 sub appearances. And then Chris said Sesko getting 0 service. Yeah, but, like, so in the beginning of the game, like, I felt like Cunha was creating opportunities, and, like, there were a couple that, like, the goalkeeper saved, and there was a rebound right there, and I'm like, that for me would be an area where I would expect Benjamin Sesko to be to finish that. Or when it came off the post and Fulham were able to regain possession. He's going to be a little bit more of a poacher. He's not going to be like, I don't think Sesko's the guy that comes on late and has an impact and has fresh legs. I think that Sesko's the type of guy who's going to poach. He's going to be a little bit more like an Erling Haaland type, to where you're going to get a little bit more poached goals. I don't think, it's like, oh, we're going to bring on Sesko for fresh legs. I don't like. He's just a big oaf. Those are the type of guys that I think almost it's better to start them, bring them off, and then bring on a guy who might have a little bit more fresh legs later. Destroyed Guy said, where would United play 3 strikers actually for? I think United. How did they line up today? So hold on, let me before I answer that, Destroyed Guy, let me see exactly how United lined up today. I watched the game, but I want to know exactly how their starting lineup was. So they had Cunha up top and Mountain and Bomo behind, 3 at the back. Then they had Ahmed and Dorgu as the wing backs. Chris said he's 6'5", they need to put crosses into him. Wood said, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think, dude, he really likes Mason Mount. I don't know. Mason Mount obviously is still, like, over a historical period has been a good player, but he's just not been it since going to United. I think they would have to play. What I would do is, if they were to play Sesko, they would have to drop Mount, play Cunha where Mount was, and put Sesko up top. I think that would be the only way. Chris said, Mbomo and Cunha don't do that a lot. They'd rather work inside and get a shot off. Yeah, I don't know. I think you'd probably, if they're going to play like how they did today, you would want to have Sesko here and then Cunha and Mbomo like this. Kenny said up the Geordies. Ashley said you wish, Kenny. Yeah, you guys. Kenny, all due respect, I think you're probably going to lose 4-1. 4-1. Maybe 3-0. Firstly, Ahmad is attacker playing a position where you need 3 lungs. Yeah, I don't. Dorgu looks good, though. Dorgu looks really, really good. Really, really good. But, yeah, Ahmad definitely is a winger that clearly is... the chat over here. Nah, let me keep it here, actually. I don't care if it goes over my face. I don't want it going off stream. Chris said, wow, heavy call. Yeah, I think we're going to batter him tomorrow. Kenny said, we shall see. We shall, and Kenny, I will eat my words if we end up losing. I'll eat my words. But I think, and even if it's a close game, I'll eat my words, because I don't think it'll be that close. I think Liverpool will be fairly dominant. The area of concern for Liverpool currently is our back 4. And going forward, I wasn't impressed in the first game of the season from you guys. Granted, I think it's going to be a very, very competitive, or I think it's going to be a very, very tense game, I should say. I think that Newcastle, a lot of players are going to come out and be really, really emotional and energetic for the game, but I do think that once the game settles down, Liverpool will take control. KB said, Leone is a decent defender. I wouldn't be mad if we didn't get Gahey this season. We need a forward, man. Gomez, Leone, Ibu, and Van Dijk. That's enough for this season. The difference for me, KB, is I agree with Leone, Ibu, and Van Dijk. I don't think Joe Gomez is good enough, and for that reason, I always am like, I just wish we parted ways with him. I'm sorry if that's disrespectful. I don't think he's I don't think I don't like Joe Gomez. That's why I want to bring in another center back. Chris said, I think it will be tight. We have to get control of the midfield. Yeah, I think that's a bit. And then also, too, Kenny Scoggin said, with a legend name and a Geordie, what went wrong there, Kenny? Got two Kennys in the chat, baby. Chris, going back to what you said, we need to get control of the midfield. Yeah, I think the Community Shield in the first game of the season, we definitely were really, really lacking without Gravenberch. I think that was, I think that was, really, really noticeable that we didn't have Brian Gravenberch. Chris said Joe goes nowhere until he gets his goal. I know. I do want to watch Joe Gomez score for Liverpool, but the problem is that, like, there's how many times have we seen Joe Gomez have games to where he's not up to the caliber that we need. Chris, I know what you're saying. I want to see him get his goal just like anyone else. But we've had him for a decade now. Dude, I actually think I might be completely incorrect here. I think Joe Gomez is Liverpool's longest serving player. Kenny said LOL. Yeah, I think Joe Gomez is our longest serving player. I could be completely incorrect there, but I'm pretty sure he was definitely around before Salah, Van Dijk, Allison, Eddie Robertson. I think he's the longest serving Liverpool player. I'd love to see him score, but yeah, I don't think. Let me double check if there's any speak pipes that we've gotten, and if any of you are new, please check the speak pipe down below in the description. Drop a voicemail, I'll play it live on stream. Also, too, if you guys haven't already liked the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you very, very much. We've gained, I think, it was super weird. When I first started the stream, I went down to 778 subscribers. Now I'm at 785. Yesterday I had a lot. So, all right, we just got a couple more chats. Kenny said LOL to the other Kenny. We got two Kennys here, baby. Chris said, controversial opinion, but would you leave Verts on the bench for this one? Joe Linton and Tonali going to flatten the lad. You are right about Gomez. Yeah, no, you got to start him. Because there's been questions about Verts' impact thus far, and I don't think he's played bad, but I just don't think he's had, that much of an impact in terms of goals. I think he's been all right, and obviously our midfield hasn't been up to the standard that we normally have it. So I think you start him just because I don't want to see a situation to where people start to question Verts' role in the team. Kenny said, who do you think plays right back tomorrow? If Joe Gomez is fit, I think it would be Joe Gomez. Because, if Connor Bradley's fit, I think it would be Connor Bradley. But Frimpong's out. I think Connor Bradley's still out, so I would expect it to be Joe Gomez. Maybe they throw Endo in, but I don't know. Chris said, I reckon Connor and Joe do 45 minutes each. Either that or Dom plays there. It could be Endo. It can't be Endo. Yeah, I don't think Endo didn't play well last week when we put him in at right back. That was kind of when the tide turned in Bournemouth's favor. I've been critical of Szoboszlai in midfield, but I have heard that he's played right back before. Typically, if you're a right-footed center midfielder, you can do a shift in at right back. That's this is just how the game works typically. So there's that aspect. Sobo will play right back. Yeah. Clark, I've heard many people in the chat before in previous streams I've done talk about how he's played right back. I didn't know that, obviously, but, if you can do a shift there, you can do a shift. But I do kind of agree with what Chris said, that if Bradley and Joe Gomez are both fit tomorrow, or fit enough to play, I would like 45 and 45. I think that would be our best bet, if I'm being honest. Clark Kent said Soba played right back in preseason. Oh, there you go. That's good to know. That's wild that we played Szoboszlai right back in preseason. Even still, though, if we play Szoboszlai at right back, I think no matter what, unless it's Connor Bradley at right back or even Joe Gomez, if we have to slot in a center midfielder at right back, they're going to try to exploit that because it's just a different position. Kenny said, "Please not Endo, no pace." Yeah, he's just far too slow to play at right back. In today's day and age, you need a good right back. with some pace. That's why I think Frimpong would be so good. He's just so quick. It's unbelievable. Very good stream today. I streamed yesterday. Nobody joined. I think it's because I streamed a couple days ago and the stream was just wonky, to say the least. I'm not even going to go into it. And then I deleted the VOD of it, and then I think the next time I streamed, YouTube was mad at me and they didn't push it. Chris said, yeah, we also played Robertson and Neone as center backs in preseason. Doesn't mean it's a good idea. Yeah, we cannot play Trey Neone as a center back. That can't happen. Cannot happen, ever. Not now, not ever. Jamie Scott said, get a grip, man. Don't underestimate this team / ground NUFC. I'm not underestimating. You guys are a good team. I just think we're better. Significantly better. I think that you're a team that will be potentially pushing for Champions League football. We're going to be a team that potentially pushes for winning several trophies. CSR said, no, let him underestimate. CSR, if I am wrong on this, I will eat my words. But I think we're going to win 4-1, 3-0. KB said, facts, Gordon or Alanga will cut him to shreds, bro. And then Kenny said, agree, KB. Yeah, I do think we can't play Endo at right back. Get a grip, man. Don't underestimate this team. I'm underestimating you. I think we're far better. And if I'm wrong, like I'm wrong, and I'll eat that. I'm not one of these people that are like, will retroactively change my opinion. If I'm wrong on it, I'll be like, I was wrong. Shave the tash instead. Oh. Okay, CSR. What if we win? I don't have to shave. I'm not shaving my mustache if we draw. I'm not gonna shave my mustache if we draw. That ain't happening. Oh man. Oh, CSR, you're doing a lot here to me because you're calling me out on my manhood in the middle of a stream, and you're calling me out on how much I feel about this. Destroyed Guy said, I hate players leaving a club. How the fuck am I supposed to to follow so many leagues? Yeah, I get that. CSR said, only if you lose. Jamie Scott said, true words, trust me, 49 years I've only followed NUFC. Let's do this. Ashley said, don't do that to me, CSR. Yeah, that's I will not get personal, pal. Yeah, I'm not going to get personal as well. No, I don't. Yeah, there's so CSR wants me to shave my mustache only if we lose. CSR, are you subscribed to the channel? Let me ask that. Are you subscribed to the channel? Did you like the video? If you do that, and I'm looking at how many subs I have right now, unless you're already subbed, which you might already be, Jamie as well. If you and Jamie both subscribe to the channel, should I shave my mustache? The problem is you guys are probably like, who cares? You shave your mustache. I look insane cleanly shaven, and I have 2 weddings coming up that I have to go to. So we're putting a lot on the line here. Chris said Morton got man of the match yesterday. Them comparing him to Perlo in France. Yeah, he was just a player who never really got opportunities at Liverpool. Fuck. The 2 of them subscribed as well. Destroyed Guy said, don't shave. They definitely both liked the video and subscribed as well. How many likes are you sitting on, bro? Because on my side it says 3. Let's like the stream, guys, so that the stream can reach more people. Fire stream, not gonna lie. I think I got 12 likes right now. Yeah. Jamie said, so I think I definitely have more than 3. Jamie said, prior to this carry on with Isak, I had a soft spot for LFC. Now I'm furious. My team will be up from it tomorrow. Trust me, NUFC. Sub and like done, pal. Kenny goes, players come and go, and players go, but if you follow a team, you'll follow them, not players. Haha, pressure is on. 13, I just added one. Fuck. Alright. If we lose, I'll shave. If we lose, if we draw, no. If we draw, no. Okay, can I do a poll? Yeah, I'll do a poll. How do I do that? That I did just agree to it though. Fuck. How to start a goal? W Chris. I don't know how to do a poll. Probably because I'm a fossil. Good lad. Yeah, alright. Alright. Ashley said, don't stream Limo's wife. Don't shave Limo's wife. Sorry, Ash. I did. You know, Ash, this is what you get for, you know how this is going to go. Yeah, no, we're going to win. Ash, don't worry about it. We're going to win. It's not a big deal. CSR and Jamie are only doing this because they wanted to put the pressure on me. If we draw, I'm not shaving. I'm not shaving if it's 1-1 or something like that. I'm not doing that. But if you beat us, I'll shave. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the likes and the subs and stuff as well. You know, I'm probably gonna be in trouble with my wife now for going clean shaven. You guys have never seen me clean shaven. I look like a psycho. I look insane. All right, let me double check if we got any speak pipes here. CSR said, will you be streaming live when the game is on? I won't be because I'm from America, so it's going to be while I'm at work. So I won't be able to stream while the game is live. You know, I otherwise I would, but maybe maybe I'll do a stream when I get home from work. If not, I'll do one on Tuesday. Destroy Guy says, now Liverpool are going to lose to see how Limo's going to look without a mustache. I want another. Ashley said, I want another Premier League hot take. Respect that, man. Put his tash on the line. Yeah. A lot. Like, this is just putting my manhood on the line here. Yeah, I will. I'll tell you this much. You know, this is probably, I'm more nervous for this game now than a Champions League final at this point. Yeah, this is tough now. Another Premier League hot take Ashley asked for. A small streamer putting his mustache on the line is probably my Premier League hot take right now. I'm currently sweating. CSR said, hopefully a live stream of the Tash shave. Yeah, will you want me to stream it? You want me to stream it? I'll probably stream it. And if I do, the problem is though, CSR, I'm assuming that you're from UK, right? So the problem with doing that is that if I stream it, it's gonna have to be after I get home from work, and I don't get home from work until like 6:00 US time. So that's the big issue that I have with, like, because like a lot of people watch my videos and my streams and stuff like that in like Europe, UK, Destroyed Guys in Asia. but what ends up happening is if I stream during the week, it's like 12 for you guys or later, even 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m. So a lot of the times if I stream during the week, you know, I'll do something with it. Maybe it won't be a live stream, but I'll do something with it. I trust my Reds. Like I said though, and I'm making this clear that I am not doing this if Liverpool draw. My God, I'm gonna be at work sweating now. KB said, "Bro, putting his last defensive looking masculine on the line is crazy." Listen, yeah, CSR said, "I am indeed, lad. I doubt you'll be shaving it, so don't overthink it." Yeah, I think Liverpool are probably the heavy favorites here. So, but there's so much like with the Isak situation, like your players are going to be coming out hot and heavy here. They're gonna be fired up for this game, man. Shit. I'll have to figure out, even if it isn't a. Connor Wood said, I don't think I've ever seen Limo clean shaven. He's always at least had a neared. Yeah, so Chris said, poor guy's stream is turning into an OnlyFans for Tash fetishists. I don't know. So Connor Woods is like laughing at me. So my facial hair has become like quite a interesting development over the past couple of years. No one's actually going to believe this. So Connor Woods was my college roommate, and when I first started growing facial hair at the ripe age of 18 years old, I would only grow it here. So this has been something. I usually have a beard. I usually have like a full beard, but I've shaved into a mustache now, and I have to put it on the line for Liverpool. This is insane. CSR said, first game at St. James, first war flag display under the lights, UK bank. Oh, it's a bank holiday Monday? I didn't know it was a bank holiday tomorrow. Oh, that makes it so much different. You're gonna have so many more people like viewing that. This makes this game so much bigger. Oh, jeez. I do not want to shave my mustache. It's alright. It's alright. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Liverpool are gonna win, like I said. Liverpool are gonna be alright. Limo shaking in his boots. I am, Woods. I definitely am. I do not want to have to shave my mustache. I got bros questioning his life choices right now. Yeah, I am. I certainly am. It's we'll have to wait and see how this goes. It's fine. It's not like I'm going to be in a lot of pictures or anything like that from several weddings that I'm going to. One's 2 weeks away, so you have to think if I shave my mustache tomorrow, that will be back in time. KB said, do you see us playing 3-4-3 in the future, especially with fullbacks we signed this season and maybe after Salah's departure? I could, if he definitely really makes an emphasis for bringing in more center backs, I could definitely see us going 3-4-3. I certainly hope that's not something that we're going to just like toss out there and hope that we just start messing around with tomorrow. That's for sure something I hope. If we're going to make that change, I hope it's in the future and we have more reinforcements. Connor said Ashley also shaking in her boots right now. Oh yeah, she's not happy that I've just gone on stream today and gambled my mustache away. If there's one thing, guys, if there's one thing you must know, I actually really don't care what I look like clean shaven. My wife, not a fan of how I look clean shaven. Not a fan. Yeah. Chris said Jordy's all going to be pissed and angry. Yeah, for sure. for sure. All right. Yeah. Let me know if you guys have anything else you want to talk about. Otherwise, I've been streaming, I think, for almost 2 hours now at this point. A very, very good stream here. Let me know if you have anything else. Otherwise, like the video, subscribe as well. Otherwise, I'll probably be ending this soon and go face the wrath of my wife. That I've just gone on live stream and just put my mustache on the line. Ashley said, you look good no matter what, Limo. Thank you, Ash. You know what? Pin that. Connor Woods said, agreed. Thanks, Woods. I appreciate that. I don't know if everyone else will agree. This is not going to become a thing either. I want to point that out, that this is not going to become a thing, that each week if I make a stream before a Liverpool game, that I'm going to just put my mustache on the line for that respective game. This is a one-off. CSR called me out, and he's also said, so how do you destroy us then? Just so I can send it to Hal and give him a heads up. Okay, Woods said, peace out, Lee, man. Peace out, brother. I'll talk to you soon, Woodsy. CSR said, how do you destroy us? And then so you let Hal know. I think that our front three is going to be a little bit too much for you guys to handle, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we have arguably one of the best front threes in the world right now. I think that Ekitike will score. I think, to be honest with you, the reason that I think Chris said Ekitike going to show you what you could have won. Yeah, I think that going forward, our front three is going to be too much for your back four to handle. And then the thing is, Liverpool's back four have struggled a lot. But if you guys really didn't have any sort of a threat for Aston Villa, I don't think you're going to have any sort of a threat for Liverpool Football Club. That's my breakdown on why I think we're going to destroy it. That's why I think it's going to be 3-0, 4-1. I think that Liverpool going forward are going to ask a lot of questions in Newcastle, and I don't think that Newcastle's front, like if you're gonna have Gordon down the middle, Alanga on the right, and Harvey Barnes on the left, I don't see a world. And let's also not forget that you guys had. You think we'll do a flat back four? Yeah. Do you think you're going to play a 3-back? I don't think you're going to play a 3-back against Liverpool. You're definitely going to play a flat 4. A flat back 11. KB said, great stream, bro. Keep up the good work. I won't be doing my watch along tomorrow, so if I get time, I will definitely hop on yours. Peace out. I'm out. See you, KB. Thanks for joining the stream, brother. I appreciate it, man. Chris said flat back 11. Yeah, I do think you guys are going to kind of park the bus. You think you're going to play? You think you're going to play a 3-back? If you play a 3-back against us, I mean, unless it basically turns into a 5-back because your wing backs are going to sit back. If you play like a true out and outright 3-back, I'm not concerned. I'll be so happy. Honestly, I really would not be that concerned if you guys play a 3-back. But, alright guys, I appreciate all of you for joining the stream. Thank you all very, very much. Shout out to our Newcastle supporters who were in the chat today as well. Shout out, of course, to all of our Liverpool supporters as well. I've somehow been happy about that. But thank you guys. I'll see you later. Have a great evening. Peace.